Hi, today we will be discussing on the megalithic culture as a frame of reference and talk about archaeological cultures. How cultures are perceived, how they are defined, and how do we get evidence from an archaeological site. So, as I said, we will be using the megalithic culture as a frame of reference. When we say a culture, it has got two major dimensions. One is space and the other one is time. Today we will be dealing mostly with the spatial dimension. So let's place the megalithic culture of a particular region. So here we will be talking about the culture of Kerala, the megalithic culture of Kerala. So placing Kerala in a wider geographic framework becomes necessary. So we are all familiar with the map of India. And we know about the southern part, which is known as peninsular India. I'm only showing the peninsular part of the map of India, and we can see that all this region is this ocean. This is the ocean, and this region is the Arabian Sea region, and this, that is the eastern coast of India, is the Bay of Bengal region. Now to place Kerala, it comes here. This is the southwestern part of India. And here towards the east of this, we have got the Western Ghats. And here we have the coast of the Arabian Sea. Now we can see that the Arabian Sea is here as well. That is the coast of Gujarat, and then this entire long coast is known as the western coast of India. Now that is broadly divided into three parts. The northern part is known as Konkan coast. The middle part is known as Kannada coast, and this southern part is known as the Malabar coast. Now we come across this term Malabar in many of the records, historical records. We also come across the names of some chiefdoms or polities much earlier in the form of the Cheraputras or the Kerala Putras that we find in Ashokan edicts. So that would take it to 3rd century BCE. So coming back to the megalithic culture, we have situated Kerala, and now the spatial dimension has been explained. There are a lot of regional manifestations within Kerala, but since we are only using it as a frame of reference, we will be talking about other aspects by keeping this in mind. The next aspect that we have to discuss would be megalithic and culture. Megalithic, if we translate it simply, it means big stones. They normally or commonly point to burial monuments. Many of these megalithic monuments are dated to the Iron Age. So that brings us to the temporal dimension or the time dimension, which is based on various kinds of dating techniques, approximately dated from 7th century BCE up to 4th century CE. So now this period is based on the dates that are available for the megalithic sites in Kerala. Now that has to be placed within the peninsular Indian megalithic culture, where the dates are older, slightly older, and they have got a wider time frame. Now there are possibilities of finding finer chronologies within this, depending on the number of sites that have been excavated and the kind of material that has come. So that is about the megalithic. So primarily we have burial monuments. We do have a couple of industrial sites, quarry sites from different parts of Kerala. The next topic that we have to discuss is culture. Now, how do we define culture? Culture has been defined in different disciplines. One definition that I would like to refer to is that culture refers to the non-biological characteristics of human beings. The non-biological characteristics, that means the learned behavior. So this behavior modifies according to differences in the environment, the changes that human beings encounter when they are living in a society. So that is the definition that is given to a culture. Now, here we have to talk about not a living culture, but a culture of past. How people lived in the past. When we talk about culture, there are some topics which come to our mind. For example, language is considered as an aspect of culture. Dress is considered as an aspect of culture. So now, when we are talking about an old culture, a dead and gone culture, a past culture, how do we actually find out what kind of language they spoke? So, just because we do not get direct evidence, doesn't mean people were not speaking to each other. It's just that we have not been able to get that particular evidence in our material record, because very little of this material record actually has survived and come down to us. So, archaeological culture becomes a little bit more difficult to explain. Now, let's take the case of dress. Let's look at what kind of dress the women of Indus Valley civilization, or the very famous Bronze Age Harappan civilization, wore. How do we get evidence for that? The kind of evidence that we are going to get will be in the form of some paintings or in the form of some sculptures. So in this image that you see is very famous. Everyone knows about it. That is the dancing girl from Mohenjo-daro. Now if you look at the dancing girl, it's a nude image. So by just looking at one artifact from one site of a big civilization or a culture, we won't be able to assume what kind of dress code they had. So we will have to look at other evidence as well. So when we do not have, or many of the parts of a culture, the culture is a system which has got many subsystems. So some of the parts are missing, some of the units are missing. It becomes difficult to reconstruct the past culture. So we need to use some specific techniques and methodology in order to arrive at it. So let's define what is an archaeological culture. The See, archaeological culture is actually an assemblage of artifacts. Okay, an assemblage of artifacts, or simply put, a group of similar artifacts. So now when we look at artifacts, all those artifacts, as we said in the case of a culture, will have two dimensions at least. One is time and the other one is space. Time and space. Now there are different terms that are used for these two dimensions. The time dimension is also referred to as temporal dimension, and the space is referred to as a spatial dimension. Sometimes time is referred to as diachronic and space is referred to as synchronic. So artifact and assemblage. Assemblage means a group of similar artifacts found within a specific time and space. So now we have understood how we define archaeological cultures on the basis of assemblage of artifacts. That would take us to understanding what is an artifact. What is an artifact? An artifact is a basic unit in archaeology. Now there are two spellings. This is the British English and the Indian English spelling, and we also have ARTIFACT, that is the American spelling. Both means the same. There are many definitions. One of the popular definitions is, it refers to portable artifacts or portable objects. Artifacts are portable objects that are made, used or modified by human beings. So there are three features. Either they are made by human beings, or they are used by human beings, or they are modified by human beings. So you can find a small a rock piece or a pebble. It can be used in three different ways. For example, let's take the case of one of the earliest artifacts, that is the hand axe of the prehistoric period. The hand axe is a pebble tool. Pebbles you find in river basins. It is a pebble tool. And then some modification is made. Flakes are removed, and then it becomes a tool. And it is called the hand axe. So artifact is the basic unit in archaeology. Now, if you just get artifacts, it will not help us in understanding much about cultures. For example, suppose we are getting a coin. Everyone has seen a coin. Coin is an example of an artifact. Now, the most common example of an artifact will be pottery, which we find in large numbers in archaeological sites. Pottery may not be full pots, but mostly in the form of broken pot sherds. But a lot can be said from these artifacts, only if one thing is taken into consideration, and that aspect is its context. So, artifact in its context. That helps us to understand cultures. Now, we were talking about the coin. Look at this coin. And then you can see that this is a Roman coin. It is found in Kerala. It was found in a hoard in Kerala, central Kerala. What all can we say from this coin? First, basic unit of classification or analysis will be, what is it? So the answer will be, it is a coin. And the second frame of reference will be which period does it belong to, or simply how old is it. And then we look at comparable evidence from other places, and then we date that to a particular period or a particular culture. And so now here we have already said that it is a Roman coin. That means the period is already defined. There is no doubt about it. Can we go further, or do we get stuck here? We can go further. Now at each point our analysis will get refined. So we have this coin with the portrait of a king. So say Augustus Caesar, a very famous king or emperor. And so it becomes easier for us to date it to one particular period within the Roman Empire. So it becomes more refined. Now when we refer to archival sources of that period, then we come across that on the obverse of this coin there is an image, and this coin was minted after the invasion of Egypt by Augustus Caesar. I'm just giving an example. Now that becomes much more finer frame. It also tells many other things about, it's an evidence, it proves this invasion, the issue of coin at that particular period in order to commemorate it. So now here we are able to pinpoint the year in which it is minted, or the mint, where it was minted, where it was in circulation, etc. So that is how we are able to define a culture based on an artifact by using its context, which is so context is an important concept in archaeology. So now we have discussed the artifact and its context. Now context vary. Now from where do we get our artifacts? Most of the artifacts may be found on surface, and to get better context, it is better to excavate and get. So here we have a layer found during an excavation. Stratas or layers. This method was borrowed from geology. So in these various stratas or layers, when we get a coin or any pottery or any other artifact, we can assign the date of that particular layer. So that follows the principle of superimposition. The principle of superimposition, where the lower layers are of an earlier culture and the upper layers are of a later period. So that is one example of how artifacts are found in their context in archaeological excavations and help to get a lot of evidence on various past cultures. Now there is another term which may get fused with artifact, and that term is antique, or we can say antiquity. Now what is an antique? Antique is something which is considered of historical value, immense historical value, or artistic value. It could be a coin, it could be a foreign pottery, it could be a sculpture. So we can, there will be a confusion whether it is artifact or antique. Now the simple explanation for that will be, all antiques are artifacts. All artifacts are not antiques. Now coming back to the artifact in its context, we would move away from the artifact, away from the trench where we excavate, and then look at a dot on a map which is called the archaeological site. So sites are found on the landscape, and it is in the site that we excavate. And when we excavate, we will get artifacts in their context. And then when we study those, we will be able to understand past cultures. So archaeology is not that something that is confined to excavating, picking up artifacts, labeling them, describing them, reporting them, and then displaying them in museums. That is just one aspect. Our aim is to understand cultures, how our society has evolved. So site is also very important concept in archaeology. So now let us try to put these together and try to understand them in the form of an illustration. Okay, so here this is an artifact. This would be its context. This would be the site. The site is within a region or a landscape. Okay. Within this artifact, some groups could be referred to as antiques. So this is about the archaeological cultures and how we use these aspects and these terms in order to understand cultures. Now, once we understand this, we can analyze any archaeological culture. Megalithic culture is one regional culture of Kerala which is well known, and its space and time dimensions are known to us, and then our frame of reference will include the artifacts or all these ideas that we draw on this culture will depend on the artifacts that are found, the context in which they are found, the material remains and other features that we get from a site, its landscape features, the human-land interactions, etc. Okay, thank you.